Good morning, all of you. How are you all? Yes, all my dear children are there at home. I hope you're all studying. You know, your exams are coming. Very soon, your exams are coming, and I hope you all are studying very well. Okay? Don't waste your time. We don't have much time now. Yes, mid September, our exams are starting, and all August is almost finished, right? So don't waste your time, beta. Yes, I know you're all good children. You all will be studying at home and you will be utilizing your time. Yes? Okay. All right, let's meet. Let's now continue the chapter number 9 from science book. Yes, so the chapter is about reproduction in animals, right? Ma'am Nigam had started the chapter and she had explained the reproduction in human along with the male and female reproductive parts, the fertilization process. Everything was done in the previous class, right? So now I will be starting with the viviparous and oviparous animals, right? So what they are, let us just find out. Before that, I'll quickly share my screen with you all. Okay? Just give me one moment. Let me just share my screen with you. Here is our chapter. Yes, I think you can all see your chapter here. Yes, let me just show it full screen for you. All right. So all these parts that I am showing right now. Okay, I'm so sorry. What happened here? Right. So you can see the modes of reproduction, sexual and asexual reproduction. First of all, sexual reproduction, male and female reproductive organs, these were explained to you. Yes, along with the process of fertilization. Yes. We have also studied about the test tube babies and internal and external fertilization. Now, we next come to the topic viviparous and oviparous animals. Okay, beta, as it is very clear from your previous class, you understand that humans, they give birth to small babies. You have also seen, right? You have also seen so many times we hear that this person has got a baby, this person has got a baby, right? So that means that humans are the kind of animals, okay, you know, humans are also a type of animals in language of science, okay? So they are like, actually they are the social animals, right? So we know that humans give birth to babies. Now talk about some other animals. Talk about a hen. Have you eaten the eggs of a hen? Yes, you have eaten, right? Then have you seen the eggs of some fish? Yes, we have, right? Sometimes we see that in the water. So what does that tell us? That tell us that there are some animals which give birth to young ones and some animals which lay eggs, right? So the animals that are giving birth to young ones, just like humans, they are known as oviparous. I'm so sorry, they are known as viviparous animals, right? And the animals which lay eggs, like the birds usually, right? They are known as oviparous animals because they are laying eggs. If you remember the female egg is known as ova, right? So oviparous comes from there only. So animals that lay eggs, they are known as oviparous animals, right? Now, there is some activity here, activity 9.2. What is that activity telling us? It's a very simple activity. It's simply telling us that you can just try to look for some animals and their eggs, right? So can you observe eggs of a frog, of a lizard, of a butterfly, of a moth? What is a moth? You remember? Silk moth. Do you remember? We've studied about silkworms in our class 7. When we studied about the production of silk, we studied about the silkworm. The adult silkworm is known as the moth, right? So hen, crow, right? And some other birds. If you observe, there are some animals whose eggs we have seen, but some animals we have not seen, right? So the eggs of a few animals that we can observe. Why can we observe that? Because their mother is laying the eggs outside their body. I'm sure you would have all seen pigeons around you laying eggs, right? So the mothers are laying eggs outside their bodies, and that is why we are able to see those eggs. That tells us that those animals are oviparous animals. But have you ever collected the egg of a human being, or for that matter, egg of a dog or a cow or a cat? No. Why? Because they don't lay eggs. I mean, they lay eggs, but inside the body, right? So we are not able to see those eggs. Outside, what we see? Outside, we only see the young ones, because the mother gives birth to the young ones, right? So such animals are known as viviparous animals. Okay, I hope this is clear to you all. Now, let's come to the young ones to adults. What happens? How young ones which are born or which are hatched from the eggs, what happens to them? Yes, you would have all seen, maybe if you have a younger sibling, you see the child, it was a baby when it was grown, right? When it was born. After that, little changes come in them, and finally they become grown up, right? Slowly they start, they learn how to sit, then they learn how to stand, then they learn how to walk, then they learn how to talk, right? So all these are various stages in their growth. Yes, but it is not same in all the animals. Let's talk about the frog. Or okay, first of all, I think we should talk about the silkworm, because you have already studied that in your previous class, class 7th, right? If you remember, we used to have the eggs of the silkworm. Then eggs used to hatch out and give us larva. From the larva or the caterpillar, it's the same thing. And from the larva or the caterpillar, they used to spin a cocoon and they used to get converted into the pupa stage. And finally, the adult silk moth used to cut out the cocoon and come out of it. Remember? So what all are these? These all are the stages of the life cycle of the silkworm. If you remember, we had drawn a diagram also for that. Now, frog is another such example. Let's talk about the life stages of a frog. If you see life stages of a frog, they start from the egg. Okay, frogs also, they hatch, they lay eggs. After the egg hatches out, the larva of the egg is known as tadpole. If you remember, what is larva? Larva is something which is hatching out of the egg. Okay, if it is something hatching out of the egg of the frog, again it will be called larva. If it is hatching out from the egg of a silk moth, still it will be called a larva. So basically, larva is the name given for the organism which hatches out of the eggs, right? So the larva of the silkworms is known as caterpillar. The larva of the frogs is known as tadpole, right? So tadpole then further gets converted into the adult frog. Okay. Now, Peter, what does this tell us? Be it the life cycle of the silkworm, or be it the life cycle of a frog. What is it telling us? It is telling us that there are various stages of changes in their life, right? So if here in this, I'll show you this diagram, these lines which you need to underline because they are the important lines. These you can see here, right? So The transformation of the larva into an adult through drastic changes is known as metamorphosis. So what is metamorphosis? Metamorphosis is a series of changes which are occurring into the life of a larva to convert it into an adult. Okay, those all changes are known as metamorphosis, right? So in human beings also, we see there are so many changes. Yes, from the time we are born to right now to a bit later stage, right? So here we have got a beautiful diagram to show the life cycle of a frog. You can see the eggs, right? From the eggs you can see early tadpole. Now see, early tadpole, does it ever look like a frog? Not at all, right? Not even the color is the same. Okay, they are quite different. So from the early tadpole it becomes a late tadpole, and from the late tadpole finally it grows up to become an adult frog, right? So this is something, you can say something very unique, right? Isn't it? If you look at the eggs, can you see, will they ever be forming like a frog? And even if you look at the tadpole, we don't get to know that this is finally growing up to become an adult frog. Have you all seen a silkworm? We have all seen that in our books last year. So a silkworm, just an insect, does it look like it is going to become just like a butterfly? Yes, you remember the adult silk moth looks just like a butterfly. So they're so different, right? That is because of metamorphosis that this happens. Okay. All right. Next, we come to again a very important topic, that is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, beta, it is present in animals also. It is present in plants also. Last year, you had studied about asexual reproduction in plants. Let me just quickly remind you. We had studied about budding. We had studied about fragmentation, spore formation. I hope you all remember that. What was that? That was different modes of asexual reproduction in plants. How can you define asexual reproduction? It is simply the mode of reproduction which does not require two parents. It can be possible with a single parent to produce a young one. This mode of reproduction is known as asexual reproduction. So here, two parents are not required. Only a single parent can produce a young one of the same kind, right? Such mode of reproduction is known as asexual reproduction. So just like we had asexual reproduction in plants, we also have asexual reproduction in animals. And here we have two beautiful examples for that. Let me just quickly show you these examples. Let us talk about the first example. First example is a hydra. Do you know what is a hydra? Hydra are very small organisms which live in the water. Okay, not really microscopic. Okay, they can be seen with the naked eye, but they're extremely small in size, right? So these hydra, how do they reproduce? They reproduce through an asexual mode of reproduction. If you see clearly in the first diagram of this green hydra, if you see, what is there, beta? There is one little small outgrowth in that, right? That outgrowth in the second diagram has little grown up. Can you see that? And in the third diagram, it has grown even more. What do you think will happen in the fourth diagram? It would grow even more, and ultimately it will detach itself from the parent hydra cell. Understand? That is how asexual reproduction occurs in hydra by the process of budding. What is that called? That is called budding. I will quickly draw a diagram to make you understand. All right, please all of you look here. See here, I've got this one hydra. Okay, little outgrowth here. Then next time what happens? Oh, my marker stopped working. So this has become little bigger, right? And third time, gradually it has become even bigger. And what happens after that? It detaches itself from the parent cell. It detaches itself and grows as a new individual. Understand? So that is how budding, what is this? The name of the process is budding, right? So budding takes place in Hydra. Clear, all of you? Now let's come to the next mode of asexual reproduction. What is that? That is binary fission. I think you have all studied about binary numbers in your computers. What is binary? 0 and 1, remember? So binary is actually a term used to represent two things, right? Binary means two. So binary, and what is fission? Fission means breaking down. All right. Fission means breaking down. So here again, a very beautiful example of an asexual reproduction, which is happening in amoeba. Now, I think you all might be aware of amoeba. We have studied about amoeba in our previous class also, right? Amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism, right? This also undergoes asexual reproduction, but here the mode is not budding. What is the name of the mode? The name of the mode is binary fission. So what happens? You can see clearly. In A, I have got an amoeba, which is little grown in size. In B diagram, I can see that the nucleus of the amoeba, you remember what is nucleus? The central part, central, very important part is the nucleus, right? So the nucleus is little grown up, right? It is little grown up and it starts dividing, right? As the nucleus starts dividing and the amoeba is growing in size, what happens now? Amoeba is, it is basically the two nucleus, they are moving towards the separate ends of amoeba and they are moving far apart from each other. And finally, the amoeba breaks down into two cells, that is two daughter amoebae, right? Daughter amoebae means two daughter cells of amoeba, of that parent cell. So whenever we had that parent cell, first one, now it has divided into two small cells, which can grow as two individuals, two new individuals. Understand? So this is known as binary fission in amoeba, another kind of asexual reproduction in animals. Okay, with this we have finished the chapter. Now I'm going to tell you about the story of Dolly the Clone. Okay, this is a very interesting story. You should all be aware of this because Dolly was the first mammal to be cloned, right? So here I have got, you can see in A diagram, I have got a fin Dorset sheep. What is a fin Dorset sheep? It's a kind of sheep, right? A species of sheep. In the second one, I have got the Scottish blackface eel, another kind of sheep, but you can clearly see that the face is black. So that we can easily distinguish between a fin Dorset and a Scottish blackface, right? And the third one is Dolly. Do you know these two, A and B, they are the actual parents of Dolly. Okay, but not in the usual way, okay, not in the usual sexual reproduction that we have studied, not that way. In fact, Dolly was made through cloning. Okay, now you will say what is cloning. You would have all seen in the sci-fi movies, sab log we observe in some movies they show कि this is a clone, उसने उसके phone को clone कर लिया, उसने उसको clone कर लिया, like that. What is a clone? Clone means an exact replica of the person, right? If I am there and an exact replica of me comes, that is a clone of me, right? I'm not talking about twins. Twins are different. Twins have got different DNA, okay? I'm talking about a clone. A clone means exactly same DNA, exactly same genetic material. Now, how was Dolly made? Okay, this is, I tell you, very interesting. Okay, you've all studied about reproduction, sexual reproduction. You all know what is that, right? So here, what happened? A cell was collected from the mammary gland of a female fin dorset sheep. तो हमने एक fin dorset sheep ली थी, not हमने, the scientists. Okay, they took a fin dorset sheep and they took out one cell from its mammary gland. Mammary gland, okay, don't go much into that. It's kind of a gland which secretes, which is there in the body. Okay, so from that gland, from that part of the fin dorset sheep, a cell was taken out. Okay, similarly, one egg was taken out from the Scottish blackface. Okay, now see, this is not a cell which we have taken out. We have taken out an egg. What does that mean? The reproductive cell. Remember the ovum? Yes. So that egg was taken from the Scottish blackface, right? But its nucleus was removed. Now, beta, you all have studied in your previous class also that nucleus is something which contains all the genetic material of a cell, all the DNA of the cell. So if the fin dorset sheep, if the Scottish blackface egg was taken, but its nucleus was removed, that means वो Scottish blackface का हमने DNA उसमें से remove कर दिया था. We removed the DNA out of it. And what did we have? We simply put the nucleus of the other fin dorset sheep. हमने जो fin dorset sheep का सेल निकाला था उसमें से हमने न्यूक्लियस निकाल के हमने यहाँ जो खाली एग बचा था हमारा जिसका हम न्यूक्लियस रिमूव कर चुके थे हमने उसमें ट्रांसप्लांट कर दिया. फाइनली वी हैव गॉट एन एग जिसका हमने बेसिकली न्यूक्लियस चेंज कर दिया. हमने स्कॉटिश ब्लैकफेस का न्यूक्लियस निकाल के फिन डॉसेट का न्यूक्लियस डाल दिया, राइट? And that egg was finally implanted again back into the Scottish blackface only. Scottish blackface का egg निकाला था, उसका न्यूक्लियस चेंज करके वापस उसी की बॉडी में इम्प्लांट कर दिया. Finally, what happened? It started, growing normally as a baby inside the body of the sheep, and finally Dolly was born. Right? Finally, Dolly was born. Though Dolly was given birth by the Scottish blackface, but it did not have any feature of the Scottish blackface. किसके features थे उसमें सारे? Fin dorset के. Why? Because DNA हमने उसका डाला था. Remember, we put the nucleus of fin dorset and we removed the nucleus of the Scottish blackface. So there was nothing, though it was growing in the body of the Scottish blackface, but since the genetic material was not given by Scottish blackface, so there was nothing which could relate Dolly to Scottish blackface. It was exactly like the fin dorset sheep, जिसका हमने nucleus insert किया था, right? So what does that tell us? That tells us that Dolly was the healthy clone of the fin dorset sheep. Understand? Don't you think it's extremely interesting? Yes? So interesting to know that we can actually create a clone. Though later on, that clone, she lived for many years, okay? But after that, several attempts were made, but it was not really a successful attempt because sometimes they used to die before birth or soon after birth, or sometimes they were born with abnormalities. So till now also, Dolly was, you can say that Dolly has been the most successful result of cloning of a mammal. Okay, with this we have finished the chapter, beta. Okay, and I'm sure cloning is an extremely interesting subject. If you want to read about it, you can definitely read about it on the Google also. All right, let's come to the question answers now. Okay, now I am going to share my screen. I'm going to share the screen with the question answers. I had prepared a PDF for you all. So what can you do? You can simply, just a moment, okay? Just give me one moment. What's that? Just give me one moment. I'll quickly. Because I have prepared that this thing for you. So what can you simply do? You can simply take out printouts. Sorry, I'm so sorry. You can take out that screenshots, right? And with them, yeah. Yes. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you the PDF that I have formed for you all. With that, you can do your question answers. You can simply take the screenshots and do the question answers in the copy. Here is it. As you all know, you will only do the question answers in the copies, the objective types and all, you know, fill in the blanks and all these things. You can simply mark them in the book. Okay. All right. I have minimized my own screen, and you can see now. Explain the importance of reproduction in organisms. So it's a vital phenomenon on this planet Earth, which is essential for existence and continuity of life and species on it, generation after generation. So if a dog is reproducing, then only we have got dogs on Earth. If dogs stop reproducing, ultimately the old ones will die out and we will not have dogs. So basically, a reproduction is essential to carry out the continuation of a species on the life on Earth, right? Then question number 2 also you will do in your copies. Process of fertilization in human beings. What is that? In the process of fertilization, sperms come in contact with an ova or an egg, right? One of the sperms, okay, in ova, in place of ova, you should write ovum, right? Ova is a plural. So with ovum, sperms come in contact. One of the sperms may fuse with the egg or the ovum, and the nuclei of the sperm and the egg fuse to form a single nucleus, resulting in the formation of a fertilized egg called zygote. In human beings, the fertilization takes place inside the female body, which is known as internal fertilization. Now, question number 3 and 4, you will not do in your copies. You can simply mark them in the book. First one is, we have to choose the most appropriate answer. Internal fertilization occurs, it occurs in the female body, right? The first option is the right answer. Number 2, a tadpole develops into an adult by the process of, what is that? Metamorphosis. We have just studied about that. Number 3, the number of nuclei present in a zygote. So how many nuclei present? Only one. Actually, 2 are fusing, but they are fusing to form a single nucleus, right? So zygote has got only one nucleus, not 2, right? Then we come to question number 4, true, false. Again, you will only mark them in the book. Number 1, oviparous animals give birth to young ones. That is false. That is a wrong statement. They give birth to eggs. Sorry, they lay eggs. Each sperm is a single cell. Again, true. External fertilization takes place in frog. Again, true. How can you say external fertilization is taking place? Because we saw na egg was there outside, right? A new human individual develops from a cell called gamete. Is that true? No, that is false. It develops from a cell called zygote, right? Not gamete. Egg laid after fertilization is made up of a single cell. Yes, that is true. Number 6, amoeba reproduces by budding. No, amoeba reproduces by binary fission, not budding. Number 7, fertilization is necessary even in asexual reproduction. Again, that is false. That is not required. Only a single parent is required, right? Number 8, binary fission is a method of asexual reproduction. Yes, it is true. Number 9, a zygote is formed as a result of fertilization. Again, true. And the last one, an embryo is made up of a single cell. No, it is false. A zygote is made up of a single cell. When it divides into many cells, then it forms the embryo. Understand? Now, the next is we have to give differences between a zygote and a fetus. Okay, just give me one moment. Here, Yeah, I think it's better now. There also, I'll just change. In the second question, it was there now. You can write ovum, not ova, right? You can take the screenshot now. All right. Let's come to the question that we were discussing about the differences between fetus and zygote. So a zygote is a single cell. We all know it forms after fertilization, but fetus is multi-celled. It contains many cells, right? Then zygote is formed by the fusion of the male gamete and female gamete, but fetus is formed by the repeated division of the zygote. Beta, don't get confused, okay? Zygote is a single cell, right? After zygote divides into a few cells, what does it form? It does not form the fetus. Before that, it forms the embryo. And from the embryo, when still further division carries on, it forms the fetus. Okay? Now we come to question number 6. Define asexual reproduction. Describe two methods, right? So it's a mode of reproduction in which a single parent is involved. Yes. In this type of reproduction, sex cells or gametes are not produced and no fusion of gametes take place for the reproduction of zygote or offsprings. It can take place in amoeba, hydra, yeast, starfish, sponges, etc. Mainly two methods are there in animals. First is the binary fission, in which a single parent is divided into two equal individual cells as an amoeba, right? And you have to draw the diagram also. Then the second one is budding. In budding, the organism develops a bulge called bud, which further develops into an adult organism and separates itself from the parent body to lead an independent life. So Hydra, again, you will draw the diagram to explain the process of budding and binary fission. Question number 7, you don't need to do in the copy. You can simply note down in the book. In which female reproductive organ does the embryo get embedded? It's the uterus. Question number 8 is, again, you have to do in the copy. The transformation of larva into an adult involving sudden and abrupt changes in the body of an animal during the life cycle of an invertebrate or amphibian is known as metamorphosis. You can also, instead of this answer, the answer which we underlined in the book, you can note down that answer also. That is also absolutely fine. Question number 9 is the differences between internal and external fertilization. Okay, now you can see in internal, we have the fusion of the male gamete and female gamete inside the body of the female partner. But in external fertilization, the fertilization or the fusion, it takes place outside the body of the female one. The second difference is female partner lays either fertilized eggs or a fully grown young one in case of internal fertilization, but external fertilization, female partner simply discharges unfertilized eggs, then outside they get fertilized and they produce the young ones. Number 3, offsprings have a high chance of survival in internal fertilization, but in external, they have a low chance. Why they have a low chance of survival? Because what happens? The female partner has simply discharged unfertilized eggs. Now, out of all those unfertilized eggs, only a few will be fertilized. Rest of them might be eaten up by other animals, right? So obviously, when they are eaten up by other animals, there are no chances of their survival, right? So the only ones which survive will be the ones which get fertilized before an animal comes and eats it up, right? Okay. Next, I have the crossword. Okay, this is an interesting crossword. I'm giving you the answers, but I want you all to try this on your own. Okay, the answers are given. You can take the screenshot. But I'm telling that please try to do it on your own. Along with that, you will also draw a few more diagrams, which I am going to share with you now. Those diagrams need to be drawn in your copy. Okay, along with these answers. Let's open the chapter. So budding and binary fission you have already drawn. Life cycle of the frog you don't need to make. Okay, but yes, you should know, right? If I ask you what is the life cycle of the frog, at least you should know that eggs give birth to the early tadpole, then to the late tadpole, and finally the adult frog, right? Okay, now you have to draw. Yes, here I have a few diagrams that you will draw. Okay, first you will draw figure 9.1, the male reproductive organ in humans. Okay, then figure 9.2, that is the sperm, human sperm. Human sperm also you have to draw in the copy. Okay, then you come to figure 9.3, female reproductive organs in humans, extremely important. Figure 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, and 9.4. They are very important. And even 9.5. Figure 9.4 is showing the human ovum. And figure 9.5 is showing the fertilization. Okay. You don't have to draw the zygote. Okay. Don't draw the zygote. So figure 9.1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These 5 figures you will draw in your copies along with the question answers that we have done. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. With this, we have finished the most important chapter of our book. Okay, so we have finished the chapter. As you get time, please do the question answers. If your copies are not available with you, some children have given their copies to their teachers for corrections. No problem, beta. Don't wait for your copies. Okay, just do the work in on a pin page or on a group of pages, and you can stick those pages in your copy when you get it back. Right now you have got time. Don't waste this time. Okay, don't waste this time. Do your work in writing so that when you get your copy back, you only have to stick the pages. Your work is complete. Okay, with this we finish the chapter. In our next class we will be starting chapter number 8. Clear? All right, if there is any doubt, we will meet and you can discuss those doubts. All right, take care all of you. Bye bye.